When I ran for president 4 years ago, I looked at the dismal and shameful record of the Democrat Party and asked black Americans, what the hell do you have to lose, right? And they all said, you shouldn't use the word hell, but I said, it's just more descriptive. Doesn't work as well without it. Today I want to share what you have to gain from voting Republican on November 3rd. Will be the biggest election of our lives. For decades, Democrat politicians like Joe Biden have taken black voters for granted. They made you big promises before every election, and then the moment they got to Washington, they abandoned you and they sold you out. The Democrat Party used you and they lied to you every single time. You know it better than anybody else knows it. The Democrats will always take back the vote. What they want to do is they'll take that vote back. They want to take the black voter for granted, and they have taken the black voter for granted. And it's not fair, it's not right, and it's not going to happen because we're going to have such a victory like you've never had before. In 2016, thank you. In 2016, I made you a solemn pledge that whether you voted for me or not, I would be your greatest champion. Since that time, I've delivered even more than I promised. It's one of those things. Few politicians do that, but reduction of any president in the history of our country. I did more for the black community in 47 months. I saw they used that line, so I don't want to ruin it by saying it a second time. It was in the video, but I will say it again. Than Joe Biden did in 47 years. And I'm here today to announce a brand new plan to deliver more opportunity, more security, more fairness, and more prosperity to black communities. We call it the Platinum Plan. Platinum Plan. And that's a contract with black Americans, and it's going to be something that people talk about for a long time to come. If you vote Republican over the next 4 years, we will create 3 million new jobs for the black community. Open 500,000 new black-owned businesses. Increase access to capital in black communities by $500 billion. And this includes investing in community development, financial institutions, and minority depository institutions. Build up peaceful and safer urban neighborhoods with the highest standards of, and you know this, of policing. We want the highest standards. We have to have highest standards of policing. Bring even greater fairness to the justice system. We did criminal justice reform. We remember that. Even greater, we will create a national clemency project to right wrongful prosecutions and to pardon individuals who have reformed their life. You saw Alice, right? We love Alice. She had another 24 years to go. Can you believe it? She served 22 years. She had another 24 years to go. It was ridiculous. And she is a great woman. Create a ladder of opportunity for African American children by delivering school choice to every parent in America. So important. Give black churches the ability to compete for federal resources for their communities. Bring better and tailored health care to address the historic disparities that we've had for so many years. You know that. Congratulations, by the way. That's going to be it's going to be a fantastic night, November 3rd. Now, I don't know, with this ballot situation, it's, you're not going to see it. November 3rd, the Democrats are playing games. You see that? You see they found ballots in a waste paper basket. They found ballots dumped in a stream. Take a look at Iowa, the primaries. You remember the primary? They went to Iowa. We love Iowa, but they tried this ballot concept, and they still don't know who won. That was a long time ago. That was in their primary, the first primary. And it's a very terrible thing that's happening, very, very terrible thing. But you're going to be raising the hand, if not November 3rd, hopefully shortly thereafter. I know you're going to be raising your hand. With me, we may end up in a dispute for a long time because that's the way they want it. But we're going to end up winning, that's for sure. Okay? We're going to end up winning. When I give my State of the Union address next year, I look forward to welcoming a historic number of black Republican members of Congress, and we're going to take back the House. We're going to take back the House. You know, we've already won some seats back. They don't like to talk about that. The fake news. You'll find out about the fake news. Have you figured out the fake news yet? You're young and handsome and beautiful. Have you figured out the fake news yet? You'll learn. You'll learn. You'll learn to live with it. You'll learn to do what you have to do. But we are going to take back the House. I think we're only 17 short now. We picked up a couple. We just won a big one in Los Angeles. We haven't won in 22 years. California. Won a big one in Wisconsin. It was a great one. We won some really good ones. So we're inching up, and you watch what's going to happen. It's going to be a very big night for the House. It's going to be a really retired Pelosi. That's not a bad idea. That's going to be great. Congratulations, all. That's already a great achievement. It really is. It's already. But together we'll fulfill our contract with Black America, and we'll pass the Platinum Plan into law, and we'll do it quickly and easily. We're also joined by a great friend of mine, Dr. Ben Carson. Where's Ben? Ben, I love Ben. Special man. He's doing a great job, too. He's been my friend from the beginning. Can I tell the one story, Ben? He came up to me he was campaigning. He was the toughest one. I mean, to tell you what, we had some really tough ones. You know, a lot of them like to try and say they were tough, but they weren't, like Kasich. He only had one thing. He wouldn't leave the race. He'd get -1. He's going on to the next one. This guy did great. He was incredible. And he came up to me during the race, and he was doing well. He said, "You know that you're going to win, don't you?" I said, "Excuse me?" He said, "You know you're going to win." He was doing great. And he was really like in second and third and fourth and back to second. I mean, he was right up there. He was great. I said, we got to get this guy out of here. But he came up to me, he did, and he said, you lose to a man that doesn't campaign? No, he's announced every day, we're going to stay in today. I don't know. Hey, I can't tell you. But the Democrats are angry at him. They say, you can't do that. You know, I just left Florida, and from here I'm going to Washington, then I'm going to Virginia, then I'm going to someplace else and someplace else. By the way, I see Kelly and I see Collins back there. Will you please stand up? Okay, please. Please. You know, those are two champions. So, they had their names in there, but they took them out. You know why? Because they probably want to not mention them together. They're going to end up liking each other. You watch. And they're two great people. I'm not going to skip them over. They thought it would be diplomatic. That's not diplomatic. That's stupid, right? But I stand here to offer solutions. I want to congratulate you both, really fighting a good fight. I want to say that. Both of you, Doug, Kelly, really great. It's amazing. Well, I sort of like it. You know why? They're going to be in there fighting. Don't anybody get out. They're going to get, and it goes, and everybody's going to come with them. And the only thing I know for sure, they're all going to vote for me, both of them. So, Brian, don't let them get out. Don't let anybody get out. Let them. That's going to be a fight. But everyone's going for both of them. Huh? Okay, it's going to be, hey, we don't have long to go either. We don't have long to go. November 3rd. I've spent the last 4 years reversing the horrible damage Joe Biden inflicted on the black community over 47 years. 47 years. He always says, oh, I should have done this. I said, you've been there for 47 years, It's always great when they tell you what you should be doing and they haven't done it themselves. And, it's not like it was 25 years ago that he left. He was there 3.5 years ago, right? So, it's one of those things. No one in Washington politics today has done more to hurt black Americans than Joe Biden. It's true. For half a century, Joe's personally advocated or enacted virtually every policy that has caused pain and suffering in the black community. You know that. Joe Biden shipped millions of your best jobs overseas, hollowed out the black middle class, and with open borders, trapped children in failing government schools, sent young men to fight in endless wars. They just never end. They're coming back home. You see that. They're coming back home. Many of those who are spreading violence in our cities are supporters of an organization called Black Lives Matter, or BLM. It's really hurting the black community. It's hurting the black community. This is an unusual name for an organization whose ideology and tactics are right now destroying many black lives, and whose first phrase was, you remember this, pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon, referring to our police. That's referring to our police. The stated goal of BLM organization people is to achieve the destruction of the nuclear family, abolish the police, abolish prisons, abolish border security, abolish capitalism, and abolish school choice. That's what their stated goals are. This is not the agenda of the black community. This is the agenda of an extreme socialist, or worse. You know what the other word is. Yeah, Marxist, communist, communist. But this is the extreme socialist left. But beyond that, in my opinion. That's why the founders of the organization call themselves trained Marxists. And yet we have major corporations, out of weakness or fear or whatever reason, donating hundreds of millions of dollars to them. These are fools. These are fools. The big progressive corporations donating to BLM should instead be spending their money helping black families rebuild from the left wing, from these horrible left-wing riots.